Return now to the
Pressure mounts on Biden after ABC News interview. But beyond that, the Democrats are back in D.C. Congress is back in session. And of course, now they're not just talking over Zoom calls. They're talking and maybe even whispering inside of the hallowed halls of Congress. This is a dangerous prospect, Joe Brandon, who wants to maintain his grip of power. Let's take a look at what's going on in the United States of America.
The race for the White House and President Biden struggling to save his candidacy over the weekend as senior Democratic lawmakers start calling for the president to step aside. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has the story. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, the Biden campaign had hoped that the president's big interview with you would quiet concerns from the party. But this morning, the number of Democrats calling for the president to exit this race is growing. Even some of his allies are making it clear there are still questions he needs to answer this week, warning the clock is ticking. This morning, President Biden, defiant as ever, adamant he can survive this crisis. Yes. But a growing number in his own party aren't so certain. Sources tell ABC News that
it's so funny because, like, look, Democrats are fucking cowards across the board. So, like, obviously, even a limited number of Democratic, like, even when you hear like a little bit of chirping from this otherwise feckless institutionalist Democratic Party, you have to make the assertion that behind closed doors, it is a fucking 5 o'clock panic. Okay, just pure and utter chaos happening behind the scenes. When you have high-ranking Democratic Party officials, senior Democratic Party members like fucking Jerry Nadler coming out and being like, you cannot continue. What the fuck is going on? 5 o'clock alarm, 5 alarm fire, not a 5 o'clock fire. I'm ESL. Shut the fuck up. My point is, if you hear someone like Adam Schiff on Sunday broadcast and say, maybe it's time to step aside, if that is what you think is best, know that what they are saying behind closed doors, so much worse, okay? So much worse. These guys are not exactly known to make bold claims or fuck up the bag. They are not known as like disruptive people, especially when there is an election coming up.
Privately, at least 4 top House Democrats told colleagues on a call Sunday it's time for Biden to end his campaign.
So I don't see the solution here because if he drops out, it's near guaranteed Trump wins. Why? Why is that it's near guaranteed Trump wins if he drops out? Every single person that is committed to voting for Joe Biden right now is going to vote for whoever the fuck is the Democratic Party candidate. The idea that like there are Brandon or busters in the Democratic Party is the most laughable notion I have ever even encountered in American politics over the course of the past 10 years of my professional political commentary career. Not a single person is like, I'm a Brandon or buster. I'm busting. I'm not fucking voting if it's not Joe Brandon. Okay? The only reason why there are even holdouts that are saying, no, Joe, keep going, Joe, is because they are that committed to the Democratic Party. These are the vote blue no matter who constituents. As long as this tumultuous period is, the chaos in this tumultuous period is kept to a minimum, and they very quickly and swiftly deal with this transition, it's not even a fucking question. They are only going to gain more votes as a consequence of this, not lose votes. That is ridiculous. The moment that Biden drops out, every single person writing for him right now will immediately pivot. It will instantly end. No one will care that Biden got pushed out. Exactly. You think Harry Hasan or David Pakman or any number of like currently, currently defenders of current like ardent supporters of Joe Biden are not going to turn around and immediately support who the fuck is going to be put in his place? Are you crazy? The only reason why they're defending Biden so vociferously is because they personally think he's the best candidate the Democratic Party has put forward, because that's what the Democratic Party signaled originally. It is that simple. Ridiculous to make any sort of assertion otherwise. Yeah, Brian Tyler Cohen. You think Brian Tyler Cohen's like, oh no, I'm sorry guys, I cannot in good conscience like vote for anyone that's not Biden? That'd be pretty funny. Do you know a single fucking person that is a Brandon or buster? Like a single one.
Congressman Jerry Nadler, Mark Takano, Joe Morell, and Adam Smith, joining 5 other Democrats who've made the same plea publicly. But
this is massive, by the way. Like that right there is fucking massive. The Democrats do not ever rock the boat like this.
Sources say Minority Leader Hakeem.
Yeah, like Hutch, for example. Yeah. Hutch is going to be like, oh, dude, Joe Biden is like, Kamala Harris is put in place of Joe Biden. Sorry, I can't vote for Kamala Harris. What are you, crazy? Like, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking of like all the people who are like unconditional dick riders of the Democratic Party, like Harry Hasan or whatever. Like, you think they're going to fucking be like, yeah, this new guy or gal, not it for me. The only person could replace Biden that would maybe lose some votes but gain more in the long run would be Hillary Clinton. Like, I don't even think personally that regardless of the fucking charisma black hole that Kamala Harris is, I don't think that there's enough like anti-Kamala sentiment out there for people to be like, yeah, I can't vote for her. Like maybe the fact that she's a woman or the fact that she's black, that could play a role in like maybe losing some votes overall. But I don't think that these people who are chalk committed right now to the Biden regime are going to turn around and be like, no. Every single person, you have only more votes to gain in this process. As long as it's not like a massive shakeup, spells chaos and confusion and division in the party. As long as this is neatly and tightly wrapped up and swiftly dealt with, this transition is swiftly dealt with, the Democratic Party's platform is seen as broadly popular, significantly more popular than the Republican Party's platform. Every single person that is currently committed to Joseph Robinette Brandon is committed to the Democratic Party. Their vote blue no matter whoers, okay? Why am I saying this? Because Biden's popularity is historically low. And the only people that defend Biden when his popularity is historically low are going to be people that are committed to the party platform. Are we really trusting polls, though? They were wrong for like 6 cycles. Why are we talking about polls? First of all, there is no other way to fucking do commentary in this time. And secondly, you're wrong. Polls were not wrong for the last 6 cycles. They are not wrong. You just don't know how to read the fucking polls. Oh, you can't look at the fucking polls. What are we supposed to look at then? Like your own personal vibes? Like, is your moon in Mercury? Is your Mercury in Gatorade? Anyway,
Team Jeffries, who convened Sunday's call, did not take a stance. With lawmakers back on the Hill this week, the coming days will be critical.
Hello.
The president trying to restore confidence, hitting the trail hard this weekend, eager to show voters he has what it takes to beat Donald Trump.
We're on the cusp of getting so much done. I really mean it.
Barnstorming battleground Pennsylvania, the president shaking hands and snapping selfies, rallying his supporters and leaning on allies to beat back concerns from fellow Democrats.
I am about to point to the only person.
That's right. Let's go. Let's put this fucking buffoon. This surely. I'm telling you right now, that's it. This is the guy. He will win this now, okay? They got the ogre out. They busted the ogre out who can't even fucking form 3 sentences together.
About to point to the only person that's ever kicked Trump's in an election right now.
Don't let anybody talk about your age. You a young whippersnapper.
But even the president's allies are blunt that his interview with George did not put concerns to rest.
What I do think the president needs to decide is, can he put those concerns aside? Can he demonstrate to the American people that what happened on the debate stage was an aberration, that he can and will beat Donald Trump?
In his
That's exactly why they use Fetterman to make Biden look coherent. Yeah, they're like, see, my president can speak good. Look at a guy who can speak bad.
First sit down after that disastrous debate performance, the president saying that so far, Democratic leaders have urged him to stay in the race.
And if Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi come down and say, we're worried that if you stay in the race, we're going to lose the House and the Senate, how will you respond?
I go into detail with them. I've spoken to all of them in detail, including Jim Clyburn. Every one of them. They all said I should stay in the race. Stay in the race. No one said.
Yeah, this was really stupid of him to say because, like, objectively, they have been like kind of wishy-washy. Even the people that he brought up, like Jim Clyburn, even bringing up the chances of like Kamala Harris being the candidate means that they are not telling him to just simply stay in the race and that they're very excited about this. Okay, when there is so much chaos behind closed doors, him taking a position like this, a confident position like this, is only going to undermine the control he has over his own party as more and more Democrats obviously come out in the upcoming days because they see the writing on the wall and say, hey, drop out.
None of the people said I should leave.
But if they do?
Well, it's like, they're not going to do that.
You sure?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Look, I mean, if the Lord Almighty came out and said, Joe, get out of the race, I'll get out of the race.
Biden insisting only divine intervention could force him out.
If you can be convinced that you cannot defeat Donald Trump, will you stand down?
It depends if the Lord Almighty comes out and tells me that, I might do that.
But at the center of his campaign is the argument that Trump poses an existential threat to American democracy.
I love the media basically saying you can't have both. Oh my God. I never personally thought that I would hear all of my commentary be reflected verbatim, like a 1-to-1. This is like, it's like ABC or the HasanAbi broadcast. I can't tell which is which. It's crazy. It's crazy, folks. is crazy. They're out here saying the same shit I've been saying.
Biden pressed on what happens if he fails to stop him.
And if you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did.
This was probably the worst take from this entire interview, by the way. Like that in and of itself was the grossest thing he fucking said. Oh, I'll drop out if even if I lose, then options, not opinions, brother. You are the goodest reader. Oh, he said options. Oh, dude, as long as I tried my darndest, tried my hardest. It's like, no, dude, you can't. No, that's not a thing. Like, absolutely no one will think that. Even all these people that are currently defending you, if you lose, some of them will look for like left bashing. Some of them will look to the left to be like, oh, the left is the reason why you lost or whatever. But ultimately, so many people will recognize that it is you who dropped the fucking ball.
The goodest job as I know I can do.
Now, that answer upsetting some in the party who say this isn't about whether or not the president gives it his all, but whether he is making the right decision to run. And this week, he will try to prove that he is up to the task. He will be standing on the world stage at the NATO summit here in Washington and then holding a rare solo press conference on Thursday. George.
Okay, Mary,